Well, hello, Lusketeers, and welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
We're so glad to have you here with us, the second episode of season 5. I'm going to be honest with you.
Sounds so professional.
I don't completely know what all that means, but we keep track of things.
Season 5, episode 2.
Can you believe we're already in 5 seasons of our podcast?
Yeah, it seems very adult of us, very mature.
Pretty kindergarten-ish, if you ask me.
No, that's the opposite of what I just said.
Well, I mean, 5 is when you go to kindergarten, right?
Oh, okay.
But this is confusing because like TV seasons, our seasons don't mean full new years. We've had multiple seasons in a year before.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It sounds like we know what we're doing.
You want to hear a crazy number?
Mm-hmm.
129. That's what episode this is.
Of all the
podcasts.
Okay.
That we've ever done. That's a grown-up number. Because in that sense, we are no, you're good. We are like over 100 episodes old. That's pretty good.
So on one hand, we're a kindergartner. On another hand, we are
an old man.
Old the hill.
Old man.
Very
129.
old.
So we're either
it's old man, not old woman.
Maybe it's which one do you want it to be? I don't know.
All right. Well,
maybe it's like the royal we.
Yes, we.
Here we are. We made it. 129. Thank you for listening. We had to get straight on all that there. We're either kindergartner or 129.
We're both. Like once a man, twice a child.
That's it. And today on the podcast, we're excited. We've never had him on before. We've tried before.
A newbie.
Scheduling worked out. Nick Nilson. He's an amazing leader. He does a lot of things. He's a consultant, helps churches, speaks on leadership. He does coaching, which is cool. I think the model of coaching is so powerful. Be able to bring him in, teams bring him in, literally travels the world, talking to churches and teams. And I've seen firsthand a very good leader. Very good leader. He's also a teaching pastor at Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas. Amazing church reaching around the world.
Yeah.
And just has such a good smile. He's so kind, so loving.
Yeah.
Him and his wife do look like Ken and Barbie. I will say this, and that's in there. That's a good thing. That they're beautiful people. That's a wonderful thing, and they're very bright people. So we're glad to have Nick on. Nick's got his first book coming out. As you're listening to this message yesterday, it came out.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. It's called You Can Live the Dream.
And we talk about it at the end of the podcast. So make sure you listen all the way through because it's
heavy
powerful,
and emotional,
it's beautiful,
and real, and he's very vulnerable with some hard things that he and his family have had to walk through. And good stuff. But a very fun conversation, and I think you'll enjoy it. So thanks again for listening, subscribing, sharing, telling us if an episode encouraged you or blessed you or made you laugh. Did it make you laugh till you pee?
Oh.
If so, let us know.
Oh, well, you don't have to tell us.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like personal.
Maybe I went too much. I could recommend a good doctor. It's like, it wasn't that funny. What's the matter with you? You would probably have a problem with your bladder.
Oh, no.
If you laugh,
I just want to tell you, Lusketeers, that we love you and we appreciate you and so thankful that you're here with us and listening and part of this journey because it's what a life we get to live.
Very good. I mean, obviously we don't do this podcast for ourselves, although we do enjoy it very much. Okay, take it back. I enjoy it very much. I might even do it if there was no microphones here. I love it. I love all these people we have, and I love spending time with you.
I know, it is really fun.
Our team here, always mocking each other. I just had to do a second open because I blew it, and it's very good.
Second time around is great. It works out usually a little better.
I'm really good on the second open. All right. Well, enjoy this conversation, and then we will see you next week with a very special episode, which is coming in hot. So see you then. So we have a lot to talk about. We're glad to have you on. First time on the podcast. We wish your wife's summer was with us. We'll do that again. Next time,
yes.
Double date it. A lot of times we do that. We'll have, one person on, they'll come back with their spouse when they make sure it's safe. It's kind of Nehemiah-esque. We got to drink the poison in the cup, make sure no one dies, and then we can go forward to the full meal.
Really? Well, then you should have her on first, maybe. I don't know if this is...
You want to throw your wife to the wolves,
Let her be the cup bearer.
You know what's crazy? Look at this cup I'm sipping on right now. See that? It says hubby backwards. It's hubby.
Yeah.
19th wedding anniversary today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And we're just monopolizing your time on your anniversary?
Oh my gosh.
We're partying tonight.
Okay.
Well,
Congratulations on 19 years.
Thank you, sir.
It's a great year.
Wow.
Thank you. Keeps getting better.
Well, now I'm like on rabbit trails in my own head.
Let's go down the trail.
What are you guys doing tonight? What's going to be happening?
We're going to do a nice dinner Italian place that she likes to go to. So she doesn't know that we're going. So
okay, no good. Well,
I can't talk too loud.
Okay.
Luckily, we have a little bit of time between the recording of this and it airing. Otherwise, all the Luskateers would be telling Summer about the plans.
Yeah. Now I got her flowers this morning. 19 roses for 19 years. Had to take care of her.
That's amazing.
And she got me some Reese's peanut butter cups, M&Ms,
Wow.
Yeah,
and
that's
an apple
solid.
fritter.
Woo!
Those three of my favorite treats.
No, you gotta love an apple fritter.
Yeah. So, that's our marriage right there. Sums it up, right?
So we just hit 19 as well. So we're in the same boat.
No way.
And
Seriously?
2004.
Yeah, same exact anniversary. And I took Jennie to Disney World with all of our kids. So the opposite of romantic is what I did. So
No, it was great.
Jennie,
You did a special romantic thing later.
Oh.
No, I mean.
She says you did a romantic thing later. Nick says, ooh.
No, when you decorated our room.
Okay, so I did arrange for while we were at Disney World, them to come in, and she had so backstory is, on this podcast, Nick, Jennie on the air shamed me in front of the whole world because I said Jennie doesn't like flowers, because at one point in our marriage she said, I don't really like flowers. So it's in my head that she doesn't like all that Hallmark sentimentality.
Yeah.
So probably for the last 13 anniversaries, I've not gotten her flowers. And then we're on the podcast one time talking to somebody and I go, Jennie doesn't really like flowers. And she stops me and goes, actually, I do like flowers. And I'm like, oh,
of course on the podcast, of course,
called out,
yeah,
shamed,
so it's recorded,
emasculated,
forever.
So I filed it away. And while we were at Disney World, someone came in and flowers, petals in the bed, and a thing, and a whatever. And I got her, man. I got her. We came in. We were all exhausted. Walked 13 miles that day.
Oh.
No stroller.
No way.
It was Lennox's first time.
First time at Disneyland with no stroller, dude. You want to talk about we did a half marathon, and come in the room and bang, got her.
You did. You got
That's
me.
incredible.
It was good.
That's amazing. Jennie, what was your reaction to that? What'd you say?
I was surprised. Yeah, I was so surprised, and it was really sweet. And we were talking about it later because I did say, I don't need flowers. But I feel like over the years, I just realized I really do love flowers. And I really love it when he thinks of me and when he makes it clear that he's thought of me. So even if it was flowers he picked from the side of the road, I would love that. And so I think I just have changed a little bit over time.
Does that mean that our needs can change over time? Ooh. It's good.
You're evolving. Jennie is evolving.
I'm
Levi.
evolving.
Summer's evolving. We have to keep up with these ladies.
Yeah.
Don't fall in love with who I used to be. I'm something fresh. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Man, so happy anniversary.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Well, it's not ours today.
Well,
today is your anniversary.
It's still
this year.
It's our year. It's our year.
I feel like 19's high pressure though, because you're like, ooh, 20 is coming. You better not blow that.
Yeah, and it better be really big and really cool. That's what I feel the pressure of. It's like,
you better get 2 fritters for that one, man.
You better
yeah, that's a 2 fritter holiday is what that is right there, man.
You better go to Disney for 2 days.
That's a fritter and a half is what that is.
Oh my
If I don't come in and find a fritter and a half,
do you like fritters? Have you had a fritter?
I love a fritter.
I don't love the name, but I love it.
No, I do love the name. I love the name. I love what it evokes in me, the way it makes me feel some kind of way. It's deeply fried. Take pie and fry it. You got a fritter.
It's so bad for you. It's
you already are eating pie in the morning. So that's how your day's going so far. But they fried it first. So that's where we're at. This is what it's come to here.
I told Babe, I'm getting ready for the Lusko podcast. Give me that fritter. Right.
Give me that fritter.
Got to fuel up. Yeah, got to fuel
the
up.
whole thing.
Got to fuel up. Like I'm Michael Scott about to do the fun run. I need to get me some carbs.
Carbs.
I need a fried pie.
So
that's how I celebrate my anniversary.
that's right. So this is I never drink out of this cup, but I figured every time I take a drink of coffee, it's a salute to my lady on our anniversary, you know.
What kind of
That's so
coffee you got
good.
in there?
Oh no, you're making him choke.
Sorry.
Why are you
just
doing this to me?
Sorry, I just got him
you're
just right.
exposing
I was super
everything
curious
that I'm
though.
intaking into my body today.
What kind of coffee you
What
got
kind
in
of-
there?
What kind of coffee you got in there?
It's a Costa Rican blend,
Okay.
you know, from a good little coffee shop called Luce here in H-Town.
Did you go there
Ooh.
personally?
I went there personally, not this morning, but I get their espresso beans, grind them up.
Mm.
Let's talk about it. Okay, so the hub, for those who are listening, he's drinking out of a mug that says hubby in cursive. It's white, probably like a 10-ounce, maybe 12-ounce mug. What's it made out of? Porcelain, or is that like a Yeti material?
Porcelain.
Okay, porcelain. Yeah, very good. And Costa Rican beans. Did
That's
you
right.
grind them yourself?
I did not. I had them grind it for me. I
Yeah,
do
that's
not own a
good.
grinder.
You should get a grinder. Have you thought about it?
That's it.
Here's my thoughts. Coffee beans begin to lose their flavor and freshness the moment
Why
they
is Jennie
get
taking
ground.
notes right now after I left? Like, is she?
She's
I
probably
feel like
writing
I'm
down.
getting graded, dear Lord, on this whole intro.
She's writing down. Nick uses pre-ground beans. She's judging you right now. She's judging
pay no
you.
attention to my note taking.
She's judging you. What if she was? What if she wrote, "Oh, Nick doesn't even drink pre-ground beans"?
No, and fritter was the first way to go on her paper for sure.
Well, she probably wanted to look it up later.
What is a fritter?
What is a fritter?
You guys are too much.
It's a very prancy word, fritter.
Fritter.
It is prancy.
It's like it evokes like a confetti celebration of dancing.
Yeah.
When did you two first meet?
That's a good question.
Whoa. Jeez.
Because you guys clearly have a very fun-loving
Oh, yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, no, it's a bromance for sure.
It is a bromance. Absolutely. What year was it,
trying to
Levi?
think
I
about
had you
that.
out on a Sunday night.
No, but that's not where we first met. I feel like we first met at a conference.
Maybe.
My memory of meeting you, I think, was at some green room, maybe Catalyst or, something like that, or Inside Elevation.
Yeah, someone was like, hey, you got to meet this Levi Lusko guy. He's the coolest dude you've ever met in your life. The best leader, the best pastor. And I was like, show me.
And then
this
after
guy.
you got over your disappointment when you actually met me,
Stop
all my
it.
press clippings did not do anything to prepare you for the actual encounter. But I do recall you had me out on a Sunday night. You were doing the young adult service back in the day. And we had the best time. Had so much fun. Went to a Mexican restaurant afterwards. Had guacamole and
the best guac.
Just stayed there forever.
The
and
best guac.
Loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we have such mutual, well, not only friends, so many friends in common, but also mutual loves. Just very similar personality wise.
Yes.
I mean, I use
funny story. Can I tell you a funny story? It's just
I grind my own beans, but other than that, we have so much in common.
And you love fritters, but
love a good fritter.
So one year, Levi, I don't know if you remember this, but you came and you brought a knife for us.
Oh yeah.
For me and for Summer, and Summer
to share.
Yeah, to share. So when I came home, I was proud of the knife, and I showed it to Summer. I'm like, check this knife out Levi got me. It's so sick. So we pull it out, and I'm showing her, and she's like, I need this for self-protection. And I'm like, okay. So she takes the knife, and she puts it in her purse. 3 days later, we go to an Astros game. We're walking into the Astros game, and they're doing a bag check. And you must put your purse and your bag on the table. She forgot that she had the Levi Lusko knife in the bag. So here's my wife getting pulled aside because she's got this massive, like lethal, thick weapon in her purse.
That is hilarious.
Gosh.
And I'm like, babe, what are you doing with this in your purse?
For self-protection.
She's so embarrassed. They wouldn't let her in. And honestly, I have to tell you, we were forced to throw it out right there, Levi.
Yeah. Yep.
So sad.
I didn't have the heart to tell you.
Now is the time.
Now is the time where I'm like, look, if you guys are taking notes and critiquing me, go ahead, throw another one on the list.
Jennie writes
Jennie's
down.
gonna write down.
No knife plan.
Knifeless idiot.
Don't give them a gift.
No
They'll
more,
lose
no
it
more,
immediately.
No more weapons. That's so funny. I've actually done that at an airport one time, because I always like to have a Leatherman on me, which is what that brand was that I gave you, the Leatherman.
Yep.
We're big fans of the Leatherman Corporation.
Mhm.
The airport I was at was a Portland International Airport. Same story. Flagged as security. Actually, no, you know what's funny about this? Mine was, I realized it right before security. Right before I put my hand in my pocket and felt the knife there.
Oh.
And I realized what was about to happen. Of course, you're not going to get a knife through TSA. Although I did once. One time I did on accident.
Right.
I opened up my bag and there was a knife in it on the plane halfway through the flight. And I was like, oh my gosh. I remember I turned to you. I was like, I have a knife. And I was like, she's like, be quiet. You probably want to be quiet about this.
Yeah, right.
And I did realize it halfway through. But this time I was like, okay, so I got this knife. They're going to catch it. I got to go find someone to give it to. So I get out of line and I go over to the arrivals where everyone's coming out. And I find a guy waiting for his family. Presumably, his grandson's coming back from summer camp or whatever. Guy's probably,
Wow, so
I'm going to call it
specific.
I'm going to call it 60 years old. It was summertime. 60 years old. This guy looked like he worked with his hands, Nick. I saw calluses from 100 yards away. He's wearing work pants. He's wearing work boots. He's got dirt. And he looks like he's a man who knows how to hang a sheet of drywall.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. Yes.
And grayish hair. Grizzled by the sun.
What a great description you're giving.
I'm telling you, this guy looks.
I see him.
Okay. So I approach him, and I say, "Hello, sir," and he says, "No habla inglés. No habla inglés." I say, "No problemo." And I proceeded with my imperfect Spanish to imprecisely present this knife to him. I said, "Sir, I fly out of aeropuerto on aeroplane.
Did you use those motions?
No bueno el knifeo. No bueno. Presento el knifeo to you, por favor." And he was very confused. I'm going to say for at least 3 minutes, I sat there seeking to get this man to accept this knife into his life.
Oh my
I think he
gosh.
finally either A, got the gist of what I was saying, or B, out of pity and wanted me to go away, accepted this knife into his life. And as I walked away, I looked back and he was securing the knife onto his pocket. And I thought to myself, maybe many years from now, this man will be on his deathbed and be presenting this knife to his grandson, who had a great experience at summer camp, by the way. And he will say to his grandpappy, "Papi, tell me the story of the knife when you received it one more time, Papi, before you die." And he would say, "Gringo at the aeropuerto." Come. This is how I imagine it. So,
Yes. Yeah. It's
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Levi Lusko.
dude.
This is what can happen. So at the Astros game, she didn't need to throw it away. She should have found somebody.
Bro, I'm spitting all over my microphone. Everyone, so all the listeners, I am so sorry.
No, it's good.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's
Okay,
the best story ever.
So I do want to talk about Denver. Okay, so you
Okay.
have a son. He's your oldest son, whom you love. His
Yeah.
name is Denver. Your daughter's name is Haven. What a great name, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay,
Credit
and
to
you're
Mom.
about to bring Denver to Denver,
Correct.
and it's never happened
It's
before.
never happened before. And since he was little, he's just, "Dad, when are you gonna take me to Denver?" And it just had, I don't know why I haven't, just been, I guess, a horrible father that we haven't gone to Denver yet. But yeah, so I'm gonna be out with Red Rocks Church and Pastor Sean Johnson, those guys, good friends. We've been
Amazing.
friends for
We love
years.
them.
The best human beings. How did you meet Sean? Do you remember?
So, yeah, Sean and I, we went to a leadership college together and served in Rockford, Illinois. He was on staff in the youth ministry, and essentially we were interns together training to do ministry.
Wow.
And so I met him I've known Sean for 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's so great. I just love Sean.
Yes.
Yes. He's a
I
legend.
give him grief all the time because he's the most listened to speaker at Fresh Life Church in our history ever.
What happened?
I
What
don't know, man.
happened?
The internet gods blew on it. He preached an amazing message. First of all, it's called "When Past Hurts Still Hurt." It was a great title, great
Nice.
concept. But the weird thing is, the message when he preached it at his church, it performed good. it did good. It was a steady good, like not a slant, not a. I don't think it was the best message.
8 out of 10.
Well, I know I'm saying his content was fine and the delivery was great, but how it performed when it went out at his church was probably a double out of what their numbers are, a double. But at our church, it outperformed any message I've ever preached, any message Jennie's ever preached, any message. I mean, we've had Pastor Stephen Furtick, and we've had so many different, communicators over the years who have preached, Louis Giglio, and everybody you could think of. And this message he did, like, by a multitude of like 200. It just went gangbusters. Like on YouTube alone, I think it's sitting at 2 million streams right now.
Wow.
This one talk. And so I always joke that he's the most popular speaker at Fresh Life Church in history, and he's always like even better than when I preach in my own church. It's great. It's very funny.
He is. And it doesn't surprise me. Sean is an incredible leader.
Yeah.
Of course, what he's walked through, his book has helped so many people. He's just an inspiration to me, to so many. I mean, he's just the best guy, on and off the platform. Got many. I can tell you a lot of funny stories about that man, but we'll save it.
Sure,
that's funny. Sure. Well, we'll have to do a conversation together. But you were an intern. He was a youth pastor.
He was already a pastor on the youth and young adult staff while I was an intern. So we immediately connected when I was an intern, and we just got in a whole lot of stuff together. A lot of fun, a lot of ministry moments. And then, about the same time he went out to plant the church in Denver, I came here to Houston. So we both went our separate ways, but we remained friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now how did you end up with the name Denver then for your son?
So we were out here, and Summer was just going through one of those name books and saw Denver. I mean, I kind of always wanted a city. Like I wanted him to be named after a city for whatever reason. I don't know. I just was like, I want a strong name. I want a name that feels authoritative, leadership, strong. Like, I feel like that's what he's going to be. And she was like, Denver, like, it's unique. It feels strong. Like, I honestly, there's no like intense meaning behind it. We both heard it. We were like, yep, love the name.
It's funny, the name change kind of chooses you in that regard, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Haven was very similar, where Haven means a safe place, and we were like, we really sensed that this girl was going to be a safe place for people, and that she was just going to be a safe haven. And her name was easier, actually. Like you said, it kind of picked us, but with Denver, it was like, hey, his middle name's Liam, so Denver Liam. I'm always like, Liam, get over here. We use his middle name actually just as much as his first name. I don't know if you guys experienced that. But it's
yeah. Is it anger more, or like when he's in trouble, is it punitive?
I'd say 50-50,
Yeah.
So, yeah, but he's excited. We're going there in July. We're pretty pumped to be with Sean and them, but he's never seen the mountains. We're going to go.
Okay,
ATV
we need to strategize. Okay, I was going to say that's exactly where we needed to go next. You're bringing him to his namesake city.
Yes,
and this needs to be like an apocryphal moment that he looks back on for the rest of his life.
Because he's 12. When does he turn 13?
In February. So he just turned 12 a few months ago.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, geez,
wow.
I'm like nervous
like
for
rite
you.
Of passage.
This moment.
Yeah, can you write a passage guy over there? Can you please give me like one or two things I need to do while I'm there?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, you're already going razoring through the woods, right?
That's
it sounds like you're going to go side by side.
Sean's going to hook us up with that, and we're going to be
there's
with
a
Sean.
Guy.
So that's a rite of
very
passage
helpful.
in and of itself.
And Sean's a big outdoorsman. He loves the outdoors. This is not true for the people who are listening.
Record, Sean, this is the opposite of
Sean,
the truth.
Did he tell you about when
did he tell you
when I took him camping? How that was for him? Oh, you haven't heard?
No.
Okay, so Sean's never slept in a tent in his entire life. Okay, not one time. And I invited him to go camping with us. And he had never been in a tent. So I was like, well, why don't we do just the most intense thing you can do and go on a canoe riding camp trip where you are in wilderness that has no cell service and no civilization. And we'll do this for 4 days and that'll be safe. There's rattlesnakes, and he was very nervous. There was blood. He did cut himself early on during a thunderstorm.
He would.
got tempted to leave, but there was no escape plan. You know, you're canoeing.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Get on the canoe,
So-
go upriver.
It went very good. It was very fun. We retraced some of Lewis and Clark's journeys, and it was magical, and he loved it. But I think he's decided to let me not plan any more trips that we go on, because he suggested New York City the next time, and he's like, I only demand room service, you know. So I was like, oh man, we need to go do adventures. Okay, but you're good, because he's got a guy in his church who owns a company that rents out these side by sides, and you'll have a blast with him because he's got a good hookup
Nice.
there. Going up into the mountains, you should do something like when you get to the top, there's some like, you know, I don't know if it's blessing or something that he has to do, a challenge. Like that would be cool. Some moment at the top of the mountain,
Dude.
something he has to decipher. You know,
Yeah.
that would be pretty neat for there to be
Yeah.
something involving the mountain.
He loves that
Um,
stuff too. Any sort of scavenger hunt, any sort of thing that he's got to, you know, any clue type stuff we do, he's all in.
Maybe you present him with a knife at somewhere, like his first pocket knife. Don't fly home with it. Carry on.
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't had good luck with knives in our
No.
family.
Check it
so-
into the airplane on the way home. But you can. I mean, how cool would that? Or maybe like something you present him with that like that is representative of this moment for him.
Yeah.
Being in Denver, going to Denver, something you could engrave it with his name. Like that could be cool.
Name and
Nice,
date it.
babe.
Have like pre-gotten bunch of guys in his life to write him letters
Hey,
or
Jennie,
send
I hate to
videos.
steal your job, but can I write down stuff while we talk here? Is that okay?
That's so funny.
Please.
What
please
if
do.
you
This is
had
good.
a bunch
This
of
is gold.
I'm writing
What if
things
you
down.
got Pastor Joel, you know, 4, 5, 6 other people to send a video to you, and then you smuggle the iPad in. So while you're up there doing this prayer moment, whatever, you pull out this iPad and he flips through videos and he's seeing like prayers over him from like 5 or 6 men that he would look to that are like speaking into the seed
Wow.
of faith over his masculinity, you know, and
Yes,
him being a
yes.
man of God and blah, blah, blah. Something from his mom, of course, like a handwritten letter from his mom, something from his sister, you know.
Wow, babe.
That could be cool.
It's really good.
I'm writing stuff down over here.
What if he has to start a fire with his bare hands?
But give him help. Give
But
him
you
the little
give him
starter
4
thing.
tools.
You know what he loves. You know what we've been doing a lot of right now? Fishing. We
Okay.
fish so much, man.
Oh,
We
so
just-
great.
He just bought a cast net, and we've been cast netting like crazy around our house.
What is a cast net? I
So
don't know
it's
what that is.
it's the circular nets that you throw off the shore, off the side. and
Are you
it's
talking
just-
about like Peter, James, and John? What are you doing? That's
Yeah, man.
incredible.
We're bringing them back, dude.
You cast nets into the deeper side of the boat and to the other side of the, wait, was it right side of the boat? Yes.
The other
Yeah.
side.
Do it again. Just do it one more time.
He fished all night and caught nothing?
Yeah. And then we did it one more time. And actually, Summer knows how to do it now. She caught the biggest one out of all of this yesterday. We were over at the lake by our house. We cast net off the dock. We watch boats come in and out. It's kind of what we do for entertainment. All right. Not
That's
sure.
amazing.
So we hang out Sundays. We go to the boat launch. We watch boats getting it, coming off and on. We used to have a boat. We no longer have a boat. So another whole nother story. But we hang out at the launch watching. Have you ever watched people launch boats? It's
Okay,
so-
I
Oh,
actually
so
wow.
entertaining.
what
Levi.
you're describing is all of my nightmares.
yes,
okay.
it-
When I put my boat in, I dread when anybody's at the launch because I feel so much shame and judgment backing up my boat to the boat launch.
Yeah.
And I'm always like relieved if no one's there. The fact that you go sit there and do this sport, because I'm always like, I hope they're not judging my
You entertain
boat
me.
driving.
we
Oh my
Summer and
gosh.
I may sell tickets. It may be a new side hustle, like charge people admission.
Oh
view
my god.
People and it's Lake Houston. It's a big boat launch, huge. So there's so much going on, bro. And
Yeah.
they're
And people don't know what they're doing because it's very
so
hard to
I can
back
say
in a
this
boat.
because we used to be one, but Summer calls them weekend wallies. Weekend wallies are, they don't know a whole lot about boating, and they're trying to launch and they're trying to get the boats back on the trailer. I've seen cars slip into the
Stop.
lake and bye gone.
No.
I'm not kidding. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, for those parents listening, that's a funny free family day idea. You bring a picnic lunch,
Yes.
you watch basically kook slams. You might take some videos that will go viral one day, right? I mean, this is very funny.
It is.
And I'm also very angry at you because this is also feeding some deep-seated
What kind of
insecurities
boat do
I've
you
had
have,
about
Levi? Is it you have a fishing boat? Is it like a ski boat?
1972 like fishing boat that looks like it is a relic from World War II.
It's
I
so
bought off my next door
old.
neighbor. It's amazing.
Do you use it a lot?
Is.
Do you go out on it a lot?
I haven't even got it wet this year because it's been so crazy. I bought it in the pandemic. You know, we all did some things in the pandemic that I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of one of a kind. Like, it's so old. It's got stickers on it for every year it was registered, dating back to like before I was born.
This is amazing.
No, it was so funny though, because our neighbor was moving, and the first
question.
What
happened was he went back to Canada, couldn't come back because Canada locked down so hard.
Oh, right.
Wow.
So ended up having, because the economy downturned, having to sell his house and from Canada remotely sell everything in his vacation house.
But the first question on Levi's mind was,
because he's out work. His wife texted Jennie and said, "Do you guys want any of our furniture? Here's a PDF of all the items we're selling." And I go, what did I say?
You said, "What about the boat?
What about that boat?" Because I always saw him getting in it. I was always like, that boat is so cool because it's so old.
Yeah.
It's like stainless steel or aluminum, maybe. Beautiful. Whatever that's riveted, silver is. Dented, you know. But every time I launch it at the thing, I always feel like an idiot. Because I'm a weekend Wally.
You're a weekend Wally.
I'm a full-on fritter out there.
A Friday fritter.
So all of my point was, we use a cast net. We go there off the dock, watching the Wallies come in and out, because we used to be one. All right, I had the same anxiety you had pulling in and out of the.
What's the worst thing you ever did driving your boat? Because I can top it. I'm about to top it whenever you're done.
I've done a lot of stupid things.
I'm such an idiot.
I've done a lot of stupid things, but I think I wasn't driving the boat, but my wife was pushing off. I got off to go grab lunch. She pushed back off on the boat and was driving it away. I realized I didn't have my keys on me for the car, which has my work, house, all my keys. They're on the boat. I looked at her. I said, "Throw me the keys." She pushes the keys to me. I'm standing on the pier. And it's like slow motion, and they just fly just like an inch over my fingers, land on the dock behind me, and splash into the murky lake. I mean, it's not a clean lake either. And I'm just sitting there, Levi, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should jump in because I'm unsure, like, really how deep it is. And I'm having all these things go through my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And Summer's just floating away. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. All of my keys, bottom of the lake. Literally, as I'm contemplating what to do, a couple walks over from the other side of the dock, and they're carrying a rope with a large magnet at the end of the rope.
Stop.
I promise you.
Have you preached this?
Yes.
God's got what you need. The magnet is on the way.
Hey.
The magnet is on the way. Touch 5 people and tell them the magnet is on the way.
Touch him. They come. They said, "Hey, do you need some help?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay."
Who walks around with the magnet on a rope? That's not even trustworthy. We should just report these people to the authorities. It's very suspicious. What were they originally going to do with this?
They were looking for valuables at the bottom of the lake with this magnet. They were fishing the bottom of the lake by where the launch is because they know families are always dropping stuff. I had never seen them before that moment, and I've never seen them since, Levi. I promise you.
Did they leave footprints in the sand?
They dropped the magnet like 3 times, and on the 3rd try, pulls it up, and my keys
on the
dangling,
3rd day?
On the 3rd day.
On the 3rd try.
I kid you not. Wow. I'm hugging them, thanking them, couldn't believe
Blessing
they were here. God has the solution long before you have a problem.
Ooh, it's a good story.
Wow.
Jeez. Does anybody hear about fishing poles in Texas? Because you're throwing nets, they're throwing magnets. You know, there's this new invention. It's called a fishing pole. You might want to consider it sometime. These poor people in Texas, they don't know about the new technology.
Nope.
Wow. So where do you buy a cast net?
You can buy a cast net any, Bass Outdoor down here. Any academy, any sports, you can find cast nets in a lot of places, and they're a little tricky to learn because, but the whole idea is you throw it and it's like a 6-foot wide circle, lands on the water, immediately sinks down and traps the fish that are in that area, and they scurry, but a lot of times they'll go right into it, and the net, and when you pull up the net, it pulls them up, and you find fish in it.
Okay, so when I was in Israel, the Sea of Galilee, they demonstrated. The guy would get up on the Jesus boat and demonstrate that. But
How big of a net? How big of a net was it?
I mean, probably a little bigger than what you're describing, but it was similar. It was like just more of an impression, like to watch us do it. To do it would be very fun. Do you have and then you have like a leash on your wrist?
Yep,
to catch it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm buying one. It's done. Amazon,
I'm telling you,
fish net.
It seemed like something like I would not enjoy, and Denver got it, and we were in the ocean. We were down in Galveston, and he was catching schools of fish.
Whew.
I mean, pulling them up, and there's just schools of little bait fish. A lot of people use cast nets for bait, so they'll catch bait fish, hook them, and then catch big fish with them.
But
I wonder if they're legal everywhere.
But yeah, you know I don't know. Like, that's a good question.
Yeah, interesting.
Wow,
I'm intrigued.
Fun.
Okay, and summer will catch them.
All that to say, I'm thinking, is there good fishing in Denver? Should we try taking him fishing while we're there because he's hot on fishing?
Yes, there's a river. There's a river called the Platte River. The Platte River is hot. It's great fishing. You can wade it. You can, I might book a guide. Ask Sean if he knows any guides in the area. Never mind that. Sean won't know.
He won't know. He won't know anything of that nature.
His assistant might know. So maybe ask Sean's assistant. This whole episode, we should just indirectly find ways to talk about Sean the whole time and not tell him. And then he'll just be getting like so many people like ribbing him when it airs and he'll be so confused. How
about you and Sean and I start an outdoor show?
Absolutely.
And it involves.
Okay, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because Sean would not know anything.
Cast nets.
Sleeping bags.
Okay, so like what about like a ceremonial hatchet for his gift? Like something like, you know what I mean? There's this company you can go to.
So you're switching gears from the knife?
Yeah,
we're
going.
You guys can't be trusted with a knife. I've just remembered
But a hatchet?
Hatchet's next level,
a knife
dude.
to a hatchet?
It's we're going big. It says, how many times does Denver go to Denver on his 13th thread of passage, right? So if you get a hatchet, there's companies like Delta guys and Navy SEALs will get them made for them. They take them to war. That's scary.
I don't know if I can trust Denver with a hatchet, bro.
Maybe not. Maybe Nerf hatchet.
Put it in a glass case picture frame.
Platte River fishing, there's other spots, but you get a guide, take you on a drift boat, 3 hours, you put you on some fish. That would be a lot of fun. And then, there's going to be, okay. So do you guys have anything else planned just before we lock this day in?
No, I don't think so. I mean, as of right now, it was all about, hey, let's go up in the mountains and let's side by side, do some 4-wheelers, find some stuff to get into. He's a big basketball fan, but the Nuggets aren't playing.
Okay, obviously.
Actually, it might be kind of cool, though. He's a big stadium fan. He's a big sports guy. So even just going to the stadium, especially if they win it, which we'll know when we hear this episode.
Well, today we are recording this conversation is all coming down to this. Nuggets Heat tonight.
Oh, I know.
Dang.
It's, to me, I mean, I'm willing to lock it in. Of course, this plays in August, and people look back and go, "You completely blew that." To me, it seems very unlikely the Heat are going to be able to pull this back at home in Denver.
Yeah, same.
They're down so substantially, and just the Nuggets are unbeatable right now.
Yeah, and I love Jimmy Buckets, man. Jimmy Butler, the way he's led but I don't see them having enough to take Denver.
And the Joker and the whole deal. And BJ, very good. Okay, so how do you make your coffee? You don't grind it. What machine do you make it through?
Well, I get the espresso, and I just have your basic espresso maker. Just give me a shot of espresso, and that's it. Pretty straightforward. I don't put anything in it usually.
Cream, water. Do you make an Americano or just straight espresso?
Straight espresso.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's good. That's high
pretty
octane.
Strong. Yep.
How many cups a day are you going?
I'll probably do two a day. One in the morning.
Sorry, I cut you off.
2 a day. 1 in the morning, and then 1 about 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
No, but you said I used to.
Oh, Yeah, so I used to make this signature drink for my daughter Haven before school. So at night, I actually learned this from a guy at our church named George Gonzalez. I have to give him credit. But I would shot of espresso. This is gonna bless your whole family. Shot of espresso, okay, in a mug, freeze it overnight. Okay. Wake up in the morning.
I didn't see that coming.
Time out. I missed the ingredient. After you put the espresso shot in, a touch of agave, right? Stir it up. Agave syrup, put it in. Stir it up, put it in the freezer. Take it out of the freezer first thing in the morning. Fill it up about halfway to the top with oat milk. Flush it up.
That's my jam.
Flush it up. And it's this amazing frappuccino-ish type latte mix that has the oat milk, like nutty kind of vibe in it. Haven requested it every day before school. So I would make her special little drink before she goes to school. So when cool. I'm not making it for myself, that's my go-to. My secret sauce that I pull out when people come over.
So good.
It's very good. Sounds good. Sounds like Jennie would really like that. It's got all the ingredients you like.
Yes, it is all the ingredients.
How do you make your coffee, Levi?
So I do, like, you know what a French press is?
Yes.
So there's a version of a French press called an Espro press, which is just basically just a little bit of an elevated.
Pressing is required.
It's too much. Espro press. You have a hard S sound, you have a PR sound. It basically, so you know what a pour over is?
Yes.
It's basically if a French press and a pour over had a baby, is what this is.
Okay.
It comes across less gritty than a French press, which can kind of be a little bit more on the Turkish coffee side of things. But it's easy as French press. So that's what I do. It's my go-to, and then traveling, I have a couple different solutions for that.
Yep.
So I don't have to drink, like a Keurig in a hotel room or whatever. God forbid.
Yeah, I got
you. Although you will drink that if you have to.
If there's no other choice. Look, I'll drink bad coffee if there's no other coffee.
Same.
But I'm going to pick better coffee if I can.
Choose. Absolutely. Jennie, are you less of a coffee snob than Levi over here? Or
yeah, I mean, I'm learning to appreciate black coffee, but I normally love cream and sugar, and
the mix.
Oat milk is my favorite. Yeah, but
okay, so the stadium tour could be cool.
I think
Take him through the tour. Does he like science and stuff like that?
Not enough to like try to work in on this type of a trip.
Gotcha. Because the Denver Children's Museum is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. They have some incredible, if he's into that at all, but if he doesn't, it's really demonstrable. Like you can stand and pull a bubble over your entire body, like be in a bubble.
Cool.
Wow.
There's like a zip line thing. Use a tornado simulator. It's outside of the Dallas one. I think it's the best one we've ever been to.
Wow.
The Ross Perot one in Dallas is unbelievable.
Wow.
Not to, start bringing out jealousy in Texas with you. I've never been to the Houston one. Do you guys have one there?
I feel like, Levi, you're a Texan at heart.
What? I feel like I do like Texas.
I feel like there's, right, Jennie? I feel like there's a Texan deep down in there.
There's a God-shaped Texan inside of every heart.
Yep.
And only God can fill it.
There is. Yep.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
No, but you know so much about Dallas.
Well, I've never been to Galveston. I want to come to Galveston at some point.
Hey, next time you're in Houston, I'm going to take you fishing in Galveston. We're gonna cast net. We're gonna do it all. We're gonna get our magnets out.
Magnets out. Yes. Do you clean the fish and eat them, or do you catch and release?
No, if we're on salt water in Galveston, we'll definitely clean and eat them. I just took them on a fishing trip over to Louisiana, actually, with a buddy, and caught a bunch of redfish, a lot of trout, cleaned them, brought them home, had a nice blackened redfish, bro, freshly caught, cooked on a skillet.
Delicious. Sounds delicious.
Wow.
Deadly, man.
Redfish.
Have you, is there a museum in Galveston dedicated to the hurricane that happened there?
I don't think there's a museum dedicated. There's a few memorials. Yeah, there's monuments, memorials there that have been set up. Yeah.
I would like to go to that. I would like to do everything you mentioned. The fishing, the beaching, and also the memorial, because it's like I just found out about. I didn't know about that thing. It's the deadliest hurricane in the United States history.
Yep.
more deadly than Katrina. I mean, that was really bad.
Yeah, it's freaky. It obviously was before all the technology, all the radars, that we have now, and it came in the middle of the night. So it hit everybody.
Nobody had the chance to
No one had the
evacuate.
chance.
And
Yeah, it was sad.
It basically, I mean, obviously Galveston has a big comeback as a beach destination now, but it was at that point basically bigger than Houston. It was the biggest city in Texas. It was metro, as far as a metroplex goes, kind of what Houston became later, only because this storm caused so many people to abandon it, kind of, right?
Correct. Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely. Galveston
when did this happen?
Yeah, Galveston was the place. I mean, it was the place to be, and it was flourishing, and the hurricane just completely wiped it out.
What year was that? Can we Google it? Is it early 1900s?
Early 1900s, yeah. Yeah,
I'm going to say 1910 maybe. Let's see. We're going to Google it live right here. We'll find out.
Wow.
That is wild. So there's got to be some good history walks you can do.
1900.
Yep, 1900.
Dang.
You were exactly right, Nick. The
Yep.
Great Storm. I think it's also called like Isaac Storm, right? Don't they call it that? Anyhow, that's crazy. So have you done any of the memorials there?
We haven't. The couple hotels there, there's a hotel called Hotel Galvez that's right on the water there. Summer and I have been to dinner there a few times. They have a basement that's actually really cool that gives you the history of Galveston. We really enjoyed that. The kids enjoyed that too. And that gives you a pretty in-depth, like historical look on the hurricane, the before and the after effects and all that. That would be a cool, they have like a bunch of different just things that were left, things that were destroyed, still on the walls, still up, where you can, just a cool exhibit you can see. But yeah, we've actually been to Galveston a lot as a family. It's been a little getaway for us since we've been in Houston. We don't live far. It's like a
2-hour drive?
Not even. It's probably 45 to an hour away from where our house is.
Wow.
And I mean, and we're right by the airport at Bush Airport here. So you can get down there quick and you're right on the water. And there's a lot, and it's actually really revitalized. There's a lot of cool things happening there, a lot of new restaurants, a good place to go if you want to cast net or back your boat up.
Back your boat up. Okay, so Mike, I can tell you my story. So I've got a long list of things that I've done that are stupid. Okay.
So in the club.
But
you like to learn the hard way.
The one I'm willing to tell on the air right now. The other one I'm like still emotionally traumatized and I'm not ready to talk about in public because it was so gnarly.
I think it's okay, Levi.
Yeah.
It's a safe space.
The guy I bought it from. Okay, has a little outboard motor, a little Mercury,
One of the handheld guys.
No. That it does have that. That's more of a trolling motor. That's a battery powered trolling motor. This is gasoline. This is on the back. It's a Mercury, 7 horsepower, 9 horsepower, whatever it is on the back. That's actually, you start it up with a pole and it, you can actually go pretty quick on this thing. It's a zippy little boat. So, the guy would take it off and put it on sometimes because some lakes only allow the trolling motor that has electric. You can't have a gasoline powered motor on it. So when he sold it to me, he's like, hey, I would take this off, put it on. Some lakes don't allow it in. And I'm never going to go to a lake that doesn't allow, this thing. I say, if you don't let me burn dinosaur bones to operate my motor, I'm not coming to fish at your lake.
Wow.
It's just my policy. I've always felt like,
your policy.
Clean air is overrated. I need, I'm just kidding. I just said that's a hassle. So I'm gonna, it just got canceled. Did you hear that? That was on me being canceled by the EPAA.
Yep.
This podcast is no longer endorsed by the by the Clean Air Commission of Montana. So he said, there's holes in the motor where the transom, where it attaches to the transom. You could attach it with bolts, but I never have because I remove it. So I just unscrew the little wing nuts and put it back on. So in my head, I'm like, note to self, add the bolts. But it's complicated. You have to get silicone, you can't just put bolts through it because water will come through. You have to put silicone to make it watertight, blah, blah, blah. So I had a to-do list before I could get this done. But I was eager to take my new boat fishing, which we call the Silver Lining, by the way.
I was going to ask you if you've named this boat.
The Silver Lining is the name. Jennie named it. Very good name.
Good job, Jennie.
Thanks.
So I was eager to get it wet. So I call my buddy up who works with us at the church, and I said, "Hey man,
Hey man.
want to get my boat wet with me?" That's how I said it. Hey man, get the boat wet. You wanna be there when the boat gets wet? And he says, "Yes, I do." And so we hitch it up, and we're driving down the road, and road's bumpy, rutted, potholed, as it were. Looks like apocalyptic road conditions. And I'm going pretty cautious. And then I kind of go a little faster. But then I hit a bump that I did not count on. It was much bigger, a pothole that I was much bigger than I was expecting. And my boat hits this thing and bounces up. And I see a flash of light in the rearview mirror.
Oh my gosh.
And it was my motor. Because the screws were not attached, my motor flew off the back of my boat, probably went like 7 feet in the air because it was like a whip tail. And then boom, on the ground. And so I just throw it in the park and I run out. Brad didn't know what happened. I just jump out of the car and I run out
so Brad was the lucky fellow.
Brad lucky there was no one behind you.
Exactly.
Seriously.
I was lucky about that.
Motor
but I was also
windshield.
Lucky that I was more on the mindset of, is my motor okay? You're right. I should have been concerned about my fellow man, Nick. There was nobody there. It was a very remote area.
Oh my gosh.
The motor was fine. I grab it. It's very scraped up down the side, now from the ordeal, but it worked fine. Started up scars. Great. Yeah, so that's one of my top 3.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Bad boat stories.
I feel like there's so many things that could go wrong. I mean, there was so many things with the boat. Like, we just had a little ski boat and bought it used, and there's just always an issue, always anxiety, always something. I mean, you're floating on water in the middle of a lake. It's just a lot. Right. Yeah.
Did you ever forget to put the
we
waterproof valve?
Forget to put that in. We forgot.
I got a buddy who did. He took it to get it dewinterized. He did. They didn't tell him. They didn't put that in.
No.
And he got it. He got on the boat. Got on the lake. Gosh. He got across, and it was like, why is there water coming in the boat? And realized it, and turned around as quick as he could, headed back for the dock, and got there just as it was starting to kind of like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about boats when we got it. Summer grew up on a boat, and she's like, "Let's get a boat. Let's get a boat." Kids were like, "Let's get a boat." We get a boat because we live close to a lake, and so I was like learning on the go, everything from launching the trailer, storing it, backing it up. I mean, and there was always an issue every time. Oh, the battery's dead, can't start it, or there's so many things. And finally, I'm like, we're done. We're done with this boat experiment.
Yes,
it's producing too much unnecessary stress.
Did you sell it like private party?
Yeah, we sold it privately just before, like right as the pandemic was hitting. They were like, "We want a boat. We're gonna go crazy if we don't get out of the house." They bought it without even test driving.
Yep.
I'm like, think it.
Wow. Okay, Nick, this is very fun. I do want to talk about your new book. Okay, so you do a lot of things. Obviously, you're a part of the executive team pastoring at Lakewood. You teach there. You, as we mentioned previously, did the amazing Sunday night youth college age service, as well as you guys put out conferences, and I've been a part of those and some midweek stuff, and very, 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 very cool. But you've also written a book.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as we're talking, and people are listening to this, it came out yesterday. So You Can Live the Dream, August 8th, 2023. It's out now. How does that feel to even say that in faith?
It's crazy. It's crazy, Levi. I mean, it's a project that I pour my heart and soul into, as you know, as an author. This is my first time going through the whole process.
Wow.
But I felt like it was just years and years coming. I just didn't really know when it was going to be time to actually put pen to paper, work hard, get it done, and finally just see it all come together. So it's wild. It's wild to know something like, this message, obviously I believe in, and I'm excited for people to hear it.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Well, congratulations.
Yes.
We never, ever want to not acknowledge just the painstaking work and labor it is to give birth to something like that. That's ambitious. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people think about it. A lot of people feel like one day I will, but to actually sit there and do that, I got to imagine there were some setbacks along the way, whether from the publishing team side, getting a all that sorted out, what comes to mind when you think about maybe some of the hurdles that were hard or times where you maybe thought about quitting on the way?
I feel I took a year to write it in the beginning of 2021. I felt like, as I mentioned to you, I've always felt like there was a book in me. Summer was a big champion of that. Pastor Joel, others around me on our team, hey, you got a book in you, and I just never felt like it was the time. I didn't want to just put a book out to put a book out.
Right.
I just wanted it to be the right thing. I wanted it to be the God time, the God moment for me. And so beginning of 2021, I just felt like the green light and just felt so compelled to get away. So I would just take book retreats. No publishing, no, just write the book. Just let's get after the book. And right away, Levi, I just had this idea of living the dream come to my mind on the first getaway. And it was this desire to flip the cultural cliche on its head. And, when you see living the dream, or you see it as a hashtag, or people say
it's all beer commercial moments, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's achievements, it's moments, it's these milestones that people get to and achieve. And I just thought, why do we have to wait to live the dream until we get there? Like Jesus gives us this amazing opportunity to live the dream now. Like we can experience joy and peace and contentment and satisfaction now. I don't have to wait until things change. I don't have to wait till I get married. I don't have to wait till I get a 6-figure salary or the corner office. I can experience an abundant life he's inviting me into now.
Yeah.
And so, and that starts with a change of perspective, right?
Yeah.
And so that, and if you ask me, a lot of the times it's like, if you call me or you text me, hey, how's it going? I'll say, living the dream. It's just naturally something I immediately say, like living the dream, like living the dream.
Choosing to believe, it's almost choosing to believe that in faith. Even you saying that kind of changes your mentality on your life, right?
Absolutely. Well, and for me, when my natural response is I'm living the dream, but that doesn't mean my life is without problem and without issues and struggle and challenges. It's like you said, I'm choosing the right perspective, or at least attempting to have the right perspective about what's going on in my life. And so it's a life mantra for me of sorts. And it's a message that I hope encourages and helps people. But from that moment, that weekend, it just launched. And then every couple weeks to every month, I would just take writing retreats and begin to collect messages. And a lot of it is messages that I've preached over almost 20 years of ministry that I've seen resonate the most with people, encourage people, get the most feedback and response from people. And then the other half is new, fresh things that kind of came about during the writing process. So at the end of the year, the end of 2021, I had 13 chapters and it was a wrap, and presented it, of course, went down the publishing road, but it was done. Full manuscript was finished. And, there was editing stuff like that needed to be done after that. But I mean, it was all a fun journey. I enjoyed writing it. I don't know, Levi, to be honest with you, if there's ever a time where I wanted to quit. I felt there was such a grace for it. And it was on my timetable. And so I was just set to do something I felt God put on my heart to do. And
beautiful.
I didn't have an end date in mind. I just told my wife, hey, we're going to be renting some Airbnbs, or I'm going to be going to the coffee shop this year, and we'll see what happens. And
Wow.
Incredible.
I love that. I love a lot about that. I love that you didn't let the permission to write stop you from writing. I think a lot of people are waiting for permission to do things that they can actually just begin to do now. We underestimate how much authority we have. Like you didn't wait, and you might have had a publishing house say, I don't like the idea, or no, or whatever, but you didn't let any of that stop you. And so you let the creativity and the calling side of it go first. And then that other stuff will sort itself out, which it obviously has. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that you really have lived this out. This isn't something just, I need to write something. This is what has helped you and encouraged you to think, hey, I'm living a life God dreamed up for me.
Yes.
And I'm doing that today. Right.
Yes,
so good.
absolutely. When I was in high school, I tore my ACL in football.
Oof,
and I thought, and I think Jennie, you were a track runner, didn't you run track?
Yeah.
So I ran track, played football, thought football was my purpose. I thought, that's what I thought God had shaped me to do. Tore my ACL, and I was just like, what is going on? Like just my world just caved in. I just didn't know where to go. I was 3 months into accepting Christ. So I was a young believer.
Wow.
And I just had a fight of faith on my hands, and I didn't really know how to handle it. And I didn't grow up in the church, so none of my family were believers at the time. And when that happened, I was just like, this is what I get for like following Christ, like walked away from my friends, all the things that I was doing that were unhealthy, trying my best to please God and honor God. And when that happened, I just like, wow, and just did my best to try to fix my focus on God through that season. And there was just this slow change in my heart to pursue ministry and to become a pastor during that season. And so basically all that to say, it was one of the most painful seasons I've ever went through in my life, but God used that to propel me into my destiny. He used that pain to ultimately get me into the places and spaces that I am now. So in hindsight, I look back and I go, wow, I thank God for that. Had that injury not happen, I wouldn't be where I am now. God almost allowed it. He did allow it, didn't cause it, but he allowed it so that my heart could go through a transformation process, and the desire to pastor grew. So I said no to football, something that I thought I was wanted to do, right? But God shifted my heart to something that I was made to do. And he knew how much fulfillment and satisfaction and joy I would get out of what I'm doing now. And so, yeah, when you say like, this is a message you live, like even through painful, very hard situations, and I even write about that in the book, I can look back and go, I can thank God for even the hardest situations. With the right perspective, you can navigate those.
Wow. And to be so young and to go through that. Did you grow up in church?
No.
Wow.
So I gave my life to Christ when I was 17, and I got injured. I gave my life to Christ on June 18th, 1998. This Sunday was my spiritual birthday. Well, we'll be here back.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. And then 3 or 4 months after I gave my life to Christ, I got injured. It was my senior year. So it was like build up.
Gosh.
I had a verbal commitment to Michigan State, play football. It looked like it was what I was supposed to do. And then done, bam. And through that process, though, I was able to pray, keep my eyes on God, and my heart changed, and the desire to be a pastor grew. So.
And I like that this is such an empowering message, Nick, because you're saying a lot of people think pain stops you from having control. You lose your agency in pain. But your message is saying, no, look, pain can't stop you from living God's dream for your life.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have permission and power, just like you didn't have to wait for a publisher to tell you could write on this. You wrote on it. And people in their pain, whether it's, divorce or, loss of a job or whatever they're facing that feels like, oh, my dream's taken from me. No, I can still choose God's dream because God's dream flourishes in pain. That's why James says rejoice in trials, right?
Right.
So your message is one of empowerment. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's the thing is, you can be in the midst of a storm and the storm doesn't have to get inside of you. And I think that's through a choice of perspective. Am I going to choose what God says about me and what he says about my circumstance? Or am I, faith isn't ignoring the facts.
Yeah.
Right. It's looking beyond them. It's choosing to fix my focus on what he says about me during this time. And it's hard. It's I like to think about God's way is the best, but it's not always the easiest. Right? Like it's the best, but that always doesn't always mean easy. And it means It means being consistent. It means keep walking, not giving up, not quitting when nothing seems to be changing. It means letting go. It means keep pressing forward. But it's absolutely an empowering message that you can be going through something very painful, yet still be able to thrive.
Mm.
Yeah, it's almost like the peace becomes almost an act of defiance because everything around you is telling you to doubt God and, whatever, give in to comfort sin or justify whatever. But you're saying like almost jujitsu move on the circumstance to keep your heart and wits in that right humble place.
So
And then
good.
the joy is almost like this byproduct that you don't expect, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Gosh.
Absolutely. That the peace of God isn't the absence of problems. It's the awareness of his presence. And I think there's been
Amen.
so many moments, and so many right now who are listening, I'm sure, that have gone through so much, and maybe are in it right now, where, man, you're surrounded by a storm, bad news from a doctor, something happening in your career, and you can choose to say and believe, hey, God's got me. He's with me. His presence is available. And this is a peace that surpasses understanding. And I can have access to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by faith that I'm going to choose to lean into that and to embrace it. So that's the hard part, is that you can have peace even through things that you didn't expect and didn't see coming. I'll share this. I lost my brother this year, unexpectedly.
So
he dealt with mental health challenges. He just battled just on a roller coaster of depression, up and down. And a month ago, he took his own life. And it was one of these moments where I'm like, if I can be candid, I'm releasing a book called You Can Live the Dream. And my brother has just taken his own life.
Wow.
And how do you wrestle with that?
Yeah.
Like how do you wrestle with this message that you believe wholeheartedly to your core in, that Jesus is hope, he is the anchor, he can bring peace, he can deliver, he can save, he can do so much, like you said, this empowering message that we believe in, but yet you're so up close to the opposite.
Yeah.
And for me, it was honestly happy. I've never had anyone this close to me pass away, let alone in this manner. So he's my only full blood sibling. He's 3 years older than me. And Adam was just the incredible creative artist, just amazing individual. But he had an organ that was sick. He struggled, and he gave his life to Christ, but he still just had this up and down journey. And so for me, over the last couple, even the last couple of weeks, Levi, I've just had to consistently come back to, I don't understand this, but God, your peace his peace has anchored me, has anchored my family. His presence has been so tangible every single day. And it's just been one of those things where I have truly experienced God's presence and his peace through one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult thing I've ever had to walk through.
Wow.
So I'm kind of living it really right now. It's like, man, I don't understand this. I just choose to believe God's going to work it out for good.
Yeah.
I'm choosing to believe that there are deep things happening in me as I'm fixing my focus on him and attaching my faith to his word and his promise. So yeah, that's I didn't anticipate sharing that on this.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you for being
Thank you for sharing that. I'm
vulnerable
so
and raw and opening up, and we'll pray for your whole family, for God to continue to heal that sorrow and comfort you in it. And we're sorry for what Adam faced, no doubt, and the hardship he carried, and but I think that the fact that this is all taking place now is not an accident. I think you're getting to live out a message that you believe in. Yet again,
right.
and again, and in such a deep way, such a hard way, and I think God's dream for us wasn't, like you said, ever a life without conflict, a life without, far from it. I mean, Jesus promised crisis and hardship, and so I think in these moments is most critical for us to hold on to hope in when life's the hardest. And that's
Yes.
when you would never need it if there wasn't a storm. You would never need God if
Right.
there wasn't, things that you needed faith for. So, you live in this out. And as much as we hate that you're having to face this and so heartbroken by that, it also is going to open up new levels of compassion for you and new levels of comfort for you. You'll never, when God brings you to a place of more and more healing, you'll never be more suited to speak with kindness and love and empathy to people going through any trial, that you'll be able to. I mean, it'll be a whole new level of, hey, I've been there. This is the rawest, most treacherous. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Correct.
But you're going to come through this, and it almost like God opens up new gears for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I appreciate it. I really do. I mean, yeah, it's what's interesting about the book journey. There was one particular moment now that I recall, because this story kind of triggers it, and what you just said kind of triggers it. But there was a moment when we were deciding the title of the book, because the message of the book is obviously my attempt to encourage and to help people through challenges, through environment struggles, through different things that they've walked through, letting go of their past mistakes, guilt, shame, labels put on them, help them walk through unhealthy environments, all that kind of stuff. And the publisher, the original title was Live in the Dream, just live in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And the publisher came back and said, Nick, we know your heart, but this is sounding like it's about, this life is all about you, like some blonde hair guy, like living the dream. Like, of course you're living the dream. Of course you got it all put together. What about me? That they were coming at it from a marketing perspective, and it didn't line up with the message. And it kind of bothered me. I'm like, that's not my heart. That's not what I want to convey. Right. But then they were like, no, this is out of protection for you. So I called my friend Torrin. Torrin Wells is on our team. And I said, Torrin, him and I have, when I worked on the project, I, hit him with ideas and see what he thought. And he goes, what about like, just add you can to the front. And I'm like,
yeah, that's
brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, because
really
then
is.
the focus is off me and it's off of you. You can live the dream. This isn't about me and everything's all good in my life. It's actually about this idea that you can live the dream wherever you're at, whatever season you find yourself in. You can experience this abundant life that Jesus promises. And I wrote it for people who are in the church and outside of the church. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of friends, cousins, aunts, uncles, people who, are not in the church. I feel like this is a message that they can connect to and understand and digest. So that was one where I was like, it should be living the dream. It should be living the dream. And they're like,
Torrin's suggestion was brilliant, because that does that it's funny what a tiny tweak, two words can make.
Right.
It's like so many things where you're just, what if we just made this one tiny thing and it changes the whole thing. So it might not be your idea's bad. It might just need the tiniest little, change to it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Very good.
And that was my heart. It wasn't, this book isn't about me, yes, I give experiences throughout it, but this book's about the listener and the reader, and how this can encourage you and it can be applied to your life. So it just, it was like, of course, I told the publisher and they're like,
blown.
That's it.
Yeah.
Funny. Mind blown. Torrin Wells with the assist.
There you go.
Yes.
We're having Torrin up for our conference this
Let's
summer,
go.
movement conference, which, as people are listening to this, is already in the past. So me speaking faith, it was amazing, and God moved in power.
I'm sure.
I know, it was
Torrin's a
amazing.
legend.
Yeah.
He used them.
Yeah. So good. Nick, is there a book website? Where can people find out more information?
You can go to nicknilson.com. All the book info is on there where you can get the book, and everything is there on my website. I mean, you can get the book anywhere books are sold. Amazon,
audio book too?
Audio book as well. Yep.
Okay. So did you do that yourself?
Yes, sir.
How'd you like that?
It took me a couple chapters to kind of get into a rhythm, but I enjoyed it. I loved it. I mean, 3 days in the studio, and yeah, once I got into like this good rhythm of it, I mean, it's weird at first, because I'm like, I want to, all these stories. I mean, every chapter starts with a story, a personal story. First chapter it's called Drowning Worms. I tell the story of taking Denver fishing for the first time. We're fishing off the side of a bayou here in Houston by our house. I'm thinking we're going to blast, right? We go down, start fishing. I'm putting worms on his hook. He throws it in the water and pulls it back up, shakes the worm off kind of. We do this for like 45 minutes, no fish, not even a bite. I'm thinking this is a horrible experience. He's never going to go fishing again. I'm chalking it up as a loss. I'm the impatient one. He's kind of content. He's not freaking out. He's just kind of like playing with the worms the whole time and, just kind of messing around. And I'm just so mad. I'm hot. It's in the middle of the summer. I'm like, we're done. After an hour, we pack up, we go back, we get in the car. And I'm just like, there it is. Like, we're never going to go fishing again. I look over at him and I go, Denver, what'd you think of today? He looks over at me, dead serious, and he goes, I love drowning worms with you.
That's a very funny story.
He's dead serious. He's like,
I love it so
5, 6
much.
years old. He thought we were there to drown worms, and he had a blast.
He thought we were there to drown worms.
Yeah, and I was there to catch
fish.
Fish. And we went back, obviously, the next day. He realized if you let the worm live, you can actually catch fish, and we did, and it was amazing. But we same spot, right? Same, 2 different perspectives. So we were both experiencing 2 different things that day. He was pumped to hang with Dad and drown worms.
Dad, I'm so glad we came here to murder these worms.
Yeah.
No, that is funny and troubling about your son's mental state a little bit, but He's
like, chalked it up as a win, drowning worms. For me, I was just so frustrated. So for me, it's just like, you could be going through the same thing as someone else and have a different perspective and completely flourish through it.
That's very challenging.
But that's
very challenging.
So telling those stories, audio, for the audio version, were a lot of fun because you could be animated. You could sometimes the words on the pages limit what
sure, the emotion, the angst of it all.
So the audiobook was really enjoyable for me, just because I could fully get into those stories and be animated, and it was fun.
Amazing.
Well, congratulations, Nick.
Wow.
I hope everybody will get a copy of You Can Live the Dream. Think of someone in your life you could give that to. What a great message to give to somebody. And thanks for writing it. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Nick.
I know.
Thank you for having me. So much fun, man. You guys are incredible. I appreciate your friendship. Appreciate all you guys do. The way you lead on and off the platform, the way you lead your family. You got a fan in Houston.
Oh man, well, we got a friend in Houston, and I can't wait till we go to Galveston together and throw the cast net back that boat up. Watch some people slam their boats into the edge. Gosh, well, please tell Summer High we can't wait to hear how the Denver day goes.
Yes.
Afterwards, are you going to be posting that to social media so we can all see?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh
good.
yeah, I'll try to document as much of the journey as I can throughout the whole thing.
That'll be incredible. Well, congrats on the book. Thanks for coming on.
We're so thankful for you. We just pray God's blessing on you and your family as you continue to live the dream and flourish and grow. We love you. So grateful for you.
Let's go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to swing by LeviLusko.com and JennieLusko.com to see what's going on in our world.
And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And in the meantime, we would love to connect with you on social media.
Jennie and Levi Lusko, out.